Imagine a city alive with sound and scent. Church bells ring out, their chimes mixing with the clang of the blacksmith's hammer. The air is thick with the smell of baking bread, but also the less appealing aroma of tanneries. Cobblestone streets teem with people. Merchants sell their wares. Apprentices scurry by on errands for their masters. This is a medieval city, a vibrant hub of commerce and community. At its heart, the guilds. These weren't just groups of craftsmen and merchants. They were the very backbone of the city. Guilds built the houses, baked the bread, stitched the clothes. They controlled the flow of goods, ensured quality, and trained the next generation. To understand medieval life, we must first understand its guilds. The sights and sounds were only one part of the experience. Guilds themselves were highly structured and governed nearly every aspect of a craftsman's life. They were more than just businesses. They were social safety nets, political forces, and even religious communities. Guilds were the cornerstones of medieval urban life. Imagine a world without supermarkets or department stores. Where would people get their bread, shoes, or tools? This is where guilds came in. They controlled the production and sale of almost everything. They weren't just about business, though. Guilds provided a safety net for members. If a craftsman fell ill, the guild would support him and his family. They also cared for widows and orphans. This sense of community was central to guild life. The strength of the guilds also gave them political clout. They negotiated with nobles and even kings. Guilds ensured their members had a voice in city affairs. They were powerful players in the medieval world. Not all guilds were the same, of course. There were two main types, merchant guilds and craft guilds. Merchant guilds were the powerhouses of trade. They controlled what goods entered the city, like spices from the east or wool from the countryside. Want to sell silk in 13th century Florence? You had to deal with the merchant guild. Then there were the craft guilds. These were the skilled artisans, the bakers, the weavers, the goldsmiths. Each craft had its own guild, fiercely protecting its secrets and standards. Only guild members could bake bread for sale or make shoes or craft furniture. This ensured quality and prevented outsiders from undercutting prices. Within each craft guild, there was a clear hierarchy. At the top were the masters. These were the experienced craftsmen, owning their workshops and employing others. But to become a master was a long and arduous journey. The path to mastery started young, often in boyhood. A young man would become an apprentice, bound to a master for several years. He learned the trade from the ground up, performing menial tasks at first. Apprenticeship wasn't just about learning skills, it was about discipline, hard work, and absorbing the guild's traditions. After years of toil, the apprentice would become a journeyman. He could now sell his labor, traveling to different cities and working for different masters. This is where the journey in journeyman comes from. He was gaining more experience, perfecting his craft, but the ultimate goal was to become a master himself. To achieve this, the journeyman had to prove his worth. He would create a masterpiece, a testament to his skill and artistry. If the guild approved, he could finally set up his own workshop and take on apprentices of his own. The cycle continued. Yet, becoming a master did not mean that you could manage your business however you wanted. Guilds were known for their strict rules and regulations. These weren't arbitrary. They were meant to maintain quality, prevent fraud, and protect the guild's reputation. Imagine the Bakers' Guild, for example. They had rules about the weight of a loaf of bread, the ingredients used, even the type of oven allowed. These regulations might seem excessive today, but they served a purpose. Consumers knew that goods bearing the guild's mark were of high quality. This built trust and ensured fair competition within the guild. Breaking the rules? That was serious business, resulting in fines, public shaming, or even expulsion from the guild. These rules weren't just about economics. They reflected the guild's sense of pride in their craft and their commitment to their community. They were guardians of tradition, ensuring that skills were passed down through generations. More than merchants, the social fabric of guilds was rich and intricate. Guilds weren't just economic entities, they were social hubs. They organized feasts and festivals, participated in religious processions, and even staged plays. Imagine a grand procession on a saint's day, each guild marching proudly under its banner, dressed in their finery. It was a spectacle. Guild halls were centers of social life. They hosted meetings, banquets, even dances. It was a place where members could socialize, share news, and strengthen their bonds. This sense of community extended beyond the workday, weaving itself into the very fabric of medieval life. Guilds also played a vital role in charity. They funded hospitals, orphanages, and provided for the poor. This wasn't just altruism, it was a form of social responsibility, a way to ensure the well-being of the entire community. They were, in many ways, the social safety net of their time. Shifting sands marked the decline of the guild system. But the world was changing. By the 16th century, the guild system began to decline. New trade routes bypassed traditional guild cities. The rise of mercantilism and early capitalism challenged the guild's control over production and trade. They were seen as stifling innovation and competition. The Protestant Reformation also played a role. Many guilds were closely tied to the Catholic Church. The Reformation weakened these ties, and, with it, the guild's influence. New ideas about individual enterprise and free trade were taking hold. While guilds clung on in some form for centuries, their power waned. The Industrial Revolution with its factories and mass production dealt the final blow. The world of individual craftsmen working in their small workshops was fading away. Echoes of the past linger in the legacy of guilds. The guilds may be gone, but their legacy endures. We see it in the very organization of labor, in the concept of apprenticeships, and in the pursuit of quality craftsmanship. Many modern professions, from doctors to lawyers, still maintain guild-like structures with their own codes of conduct and professional organizations. The guild's emphasis on training and standards laid the groundwork for modern education and certification programs. They taught us the importance of community, of taking care of our own. Their influence, though often hidden, can be seen in the very fabric of our society. The guilds remind us that work is not just about making a living, but about contributing to something larger than ourselves. They teach us the value of skill, tradition, and the power of community. Their story is a reminder that even in a world obsessed with speed and profit, there is still a place for quality, craftsmanship, and the pursuit of excellence. From guilds to gig workers, labor has taken quite a journey. Looking back at the guilds, we see a stark contrast to our modern world of work. The gig economy, with its freelance workers and short-term contracts, seems a world away from the lifelong commitment found in the medieval guilds. But are they really so different? Both systems reflect the economic realities of their time. Guilds thrived in an era of limited technology and local markets. Today's gig economy is a product of globalization, digital platforms, and a desire for flexible work arrangements. Both systems have their pros and cons, their champions and critics. What can we learn from the guilds? Perhaps their emphasis on community and mutual support holds lessons for our fragmented world. Perhaps their focus on quality and craftsmanship can inspire us in an era of mass production. The guilds remind us that work is more than just a transaction. It's a fundamental part of who we are and how we connect with each other. As we navigate the complexities of the modern workplace, the lessons of the guild system, though centuries old, might just hold the key to a more humane and fulfilling future of work. Thank you for watching. If you found this video beneficial, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Traudastoria to continue learning from the annals of history.